Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Well, for people who are tuning in that maybe didn't watch or listen to those previous episodes, let's give them some background about you. Tell them about the story, how you became a financial planner.
Yeah. Went to school, studied biochemistry. That's where I'll start. In undergrad, went to Schreiner University up in Kerrville. Then from there, had a perfect GPA, so got accepted with a full stipend, full ride to UCLA for grad school, studying organic chemistry. And as I was working in the lab day in and day out, just staring into a fume hood, which had negative airflow, so you can mix chemicals, I was just like, one day, I hate this. This is not me. So I quit with no financial plan, nothing set up, and started just, tutoring kids in physics and chemistry to survive in Los Angeles, make rent, which was $950 a month at that time. I was able to make it through and then made it back home and started as an intern, financial planning, and surprisingly found that I loved that because it was very people-focused and you could always grow and get better at it.
It's a family business, right?
Yep, work with my father. He's been doing it since 1987, and also my brother, been doing it since I was in Los Angeles, doing some soul searching.
And what do you like about financial planning?
What I like about it is when you start making the right decisions about your money, it can just drastically improve your quality of life. So I like seeing people sort of wake up and realize that the decisions they're making with money now is going to affect their kids, their grandkids, their great-grandkids even, and the example that they're leading can affect future generations and just sort of like change the whole family line, put it in a positive direction. That's
it's not just money. Yeah. It's the example, right?
Yeah, like I like to say money's fake. It's just kind of like it's based on, the trust you have in it. But the decisions you make with it, you can really multiply money and grow it and inspire others, help people, or do bad things, you say.
Right.
Love of money is the root of all evil. But yeah.
Well, my dad always said that more money makes you more of what you already are. Yeah. If you're an alcoholic, you'll drink more. Yeah. If you're a charitable person, you'll give more.
Yep. It amplifies. Yep.
Yeah, so I want to talk about some of the reasons that people would leave a legendary legacy. Mm-hmm. And so let me get to my notes here. Mm-hmm. Well, let's start with the definition of legacy. How would you define it?
Very simply, I would say what you leave behind is your legacy, and that's when you pass away, when you die. What do you leave behind? Did you leave the world a better place? Did you leave a mess? That's how I see it.
Well, I found a definition. Legacy comes from the Latin verb legare, to appoint by a last will or send as an ambassador. Originally, the noun meant ambassador or envoy, but soon shifted to mean the money and property a person leaves behind in his will. In recent usage, political leaders are said to be concerned with their legacies, the historically significant achievements of their tenure in office. So I think if you combine those two things, you can have a purpose for what you're leaving to those you leave behind.
Yeah, you were talking about this. It's so important, like, why are you leaving money behind?
Mm-hmm. And when we talk about the sinners and saints segment, we'll talk about people who have done great things with their legacy. Those will be the saints. And the sinners will be those people that made mistakes with their legacy or failed to do anything and resulting in chaos.
Yeah.
So think about some of people that family, friends, neighbors, clients. Can you remember any legacy stories that inspired you?
I think a lot of my grandpa, actually, and stuff that was said about your circle, who you hang around. And I think a lot of people have heard this, you're the average of the 5 people you hang around. But that's so true. I also think about my father. He used to say, like, what would your grandma think if she were to see what you're doing? You know, when you're in college, he would kind of like, to get me to behave, you know, not do, you know, kids like to party and stuff like that in college. And that's something I think about nowadays, is sort of like, I think about it differently, but like, if the kid version of me could see me, like the 8-year-old, would he be like, hey, cool, Joseph's doing cool things. It's exciting. And if the 80-year-old version saw me, would he be like, hey, he's really taking care of the future? That's kind of how I think about it. And now with kids on the way, it's like I want to do, my parents did a good job, but I want to do an even better job at leaving those examples for my kids.
Yeah, leaving the values, the lessons. I think that's a important thing for me too, in my family. I remember some of the things that my dad's dad said. He said there's two things that were important to him in life. One was his faith in God, and two was his caring for his family. Everything else was just not that important. Yeah. And for my mom's mom, she always talked about how hard she worked. Yeah. She wanted us to work. Yeah. And be productive and earn money, and a lot of my paradigms come from them.
Yeah, the hard work, and that's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so how do we leave a legendary legacy? Well, first I want to compare it with leaving a legacy that might not be so legendary, or when people tell me that they just want to leave whatever's left to the kids or grandkids, and it doesn't matter to them what the kids or beneficiaries do with their money. Yeah. I call that a passive legacy. It's not active, it's just whatever's left. It just operates on its own, has no purpose.
Yeah. That's interesting. I think that word purpose really sticks out to me. It's like, are you going to be intentional with your legacy or not? Just like with your life. Yeah. And
I think when we're preparing to leave a legacy, we need to be intentional with our life now, while we're alive. Yeah. And that's why I decided to sign up Lexi. She's my legacy. Sign up Lexi for agility training. We're starting that tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
You know how you watch on TV horses jumping over fences and getting scores for that? Well, they do that with dogs too. Dogs jump over these things and go through tunnels and walk on a balance beam and over a teeter-totter.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, that's what we're going to start doing.
That's awesome. I think you can tell a lot about someone's personality by how they take care of their dog. Is it well-behaved or not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same with the kids, right?
Okay, well, we got to take a break.
Yeah.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Each week, attorney Todd Marquardt talks about the law. His mission with the Talk Law Radio show and podcast is to help you discover your legal issue blind spots. In the beginning, God had one law. Don't eat from the fruit of that tree. Then came the 10 Commandments. Now we have federal, state, and municipal lawmakers that won't stop creating new laws. Laws that might impact you without you knowing it. Listen to the show and drop a line on Facebook or email host@talklawradio.com and let the host know what you think of the show, the topics you want to hear, and whether you want to be a guest.